Hi guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the art of shaping badge, actually getting the dog to start painting, alright? It's a lot of fun. Part of what we're doing is the human portion. We're helping the dog owner actually learn, how can I teach my dog through shaping? And it can be a lot of fun. And then we're actually going to go into actually getting the dog to paint. Part of what shaping is starting with the basic parts of it. You can actually let the dog start to offer behaviors that are going to lead towards your final goal. So in this case, part of what we need to do is get our dog to wave or to start pawing at something. If you actually want to use this, it's actually a cool trick to teach your dog. So if they're out in the mud or the snow, you can have some sort of carpet or rug outside your door, and you can actually teach them to wipe their paws before coming in the house. But today what we're going to go through is a couple of the simple things. The first part is with shaping, you definitely want to use some sort of marker device. That marker could be the clicker, right, a tool that just makes a noise, or you can use a verbal marker, whichever you prefer. In this case, we're going to be using the clicker, and you will hear me, probably the majority of the time, actually saying the word yes at the same time. Because I don't always have this in my hand, and I like to have a verbal and a mechanical type marker. When we start working with the clicker, all we do is click and treat. Alright, you can throw it, you can give it to them, get them to go away from you, and you're playing this little game. Do this for about a dozen times or so. I do like to do this more than just once. I like to make sure my dog is really good at it. But what happens is, you'll know that your dog is clicker charged or clicker trained. They're going to expect that treat. And if they're not paying attention to you, they're not looking at you, you've got that clicker, you click, all right, the ears go up, and actually with her, she looked right back at me. She knew she was going to get a treat. So then you're actually going to move on to the next step. Ember, sit. Come here. Sit. Yes, good girl. And our next step is we want to start getting that paw moving. You can actually, she's going to start to raise her paw when I go for it because she knows this. But for a dog who doesn't, some dogs will automatically give you that paw. Some dogs going, hey, what are you doing? I have no clue. I actually like to go behind their leg and tap it just a little bit. All right? Or you can just watch them, and if they start to move that leg, just that little bit, doesn't even have to come off the ground, but you can see the bend, you can click. And again, give that treat. So you're going to start to work towards it. Once you start having a shake, or you could call it a paw, I call it a shake. Shake, yes, good girl. That's getting that paw moving. We're going to get it up into the air. Now I'm actually going to want to get this higher. I like to go towards this and actually teach a wave. And the way we do that is I'm actually going to start to come up with my hand higher, shake, and I pull my hand away, and I'll click for her actually pawing in the air. So I'm going to go shake. Whoops, I didn't mean to click twice. I'm going to come in. Oh. Yes. Good girl. And then I'll eventually start to give it a different cue. Instead of doing this, I'm going to start kind of coming in, but then I change to it, and you can see her paws coming up. Yes, good girl. And eventually I'll even add a verbal marker like, hello, can you say hello, Ember? Oh, good girl. Now Ember is actually really tired today. We've been doing this since 8 o'clock this morning. We're at 8 hours of working with dogs. So she is a little bit on the tired side, and I'm not going to force her to really go through and do a really good wave. But she can really get that paw going. All right? So once we get that paw moving, we get that up there, we can actually start taking an item and get her to start pawing at something. Ember? Sit. Yes. So what I did is I get that paw to come up in the air, but then I actually let her hit that object that I want. And there she's actually starting to do it on her own. I didn't even ask her that time. She's already starting to figure that out. So that's going to be kind of my steps to getting my dogs to paw at something. My next step, and you can kind of do this at different phases depending where you're at, I'm actually going to want to make sure that Ember is really comfortable with her paws being touched, that she's really comfortable with me holding it, and I can just treat her for that. I have no problem going to a dog, paw, shake, good job, inspect, and feed my dog at the same time. And I do this a lot. It's not like every time I'm going to trim their nails, I'm going to say, oh, give me your leg, give me your foot, I'm going to trim your nails. Because what are you doing? You're actually teaching your dog that paw handling is bad. The only time you touch their paws is because you're cleaning them out, you're cutting their nails, and sometimes it's a little scary or maybe even a little painful. So I constantly touch my dog's paws. Yes, nice job. And I tell them pause and I rub them. And then guess what? There goes, she loves those belly rubs. So I get her comfortable with me touching these. My next step, now that I know my dog is comfortable with their paws being touched, I'll actually start working with putting either a painting paw or a sock on. Yes, you're a good girl. And again, making sure that the dog's comfortable with it. And you do need to be able to hold on to their paw. If they constantly pull away, you're going to need to play some more, treat some more, and eventually work towards getting that paw and her to accept you putting on that sock. Going?
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry, my phone ran out of storage space, so we got another video camera going. Basically, I was kind of saying you need to make sure the dog is really accepting you touching their pads and their paws, and start working towards actually putting that painting paw on or sock. And again, basically just grabbing their leg, putting it on a little bit, treat, putting on a little bit more, treat, getting them comfortable with what you're doing. And some dogs, it may take a while. They may not like this. They may feel kind of weird. It may feel weird when they start walking around. They may start lifting up their leg. Hey, this is kind of weird. Make it fun, enjoyable. Saying, oh, good girl, here's some food. And kind of help her through the process, or him. All right? And it should go really well. Again, once you start going again, yes. Now you can see, that time she actually gave me multiple strokes. Okay, that paintbrush going. So I'm using that same right now. I'm still using that same signal. Amber, hi. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Yes. So I'm only clicking now for that third one. And I can keep going as long as I want, making it easier or harder, depending on how well the dog is doing. And then you can, like I say, the painting paw's on. Now go ahead and start adding some paint to the you want to play with your daddy? Now go ahead and start adding your paint, and you can start actually creating a picture. Thank you. All right, Mary, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the steps for you earning your Art of Skills badge today, all right? One of the first things you're going to have to think about is you have to be able to affix the painting paw to your dog without stress. All right, so I'm going to want to see you actually put that on. Then the dog's going to need to perform on cue several long strokes on the canvas while wearing the painting paw, okay? And then you're actually going to be creating that masterpiece. Then I'm going to ask you a little bit about how to use and clean up the paints, and then tell me a little bit about what you do with the painting paw at the end. So I know you already know some of this. I would like you just to kind of show me that Bailey can actually do a wave or start moving that paw like I actually showed in the demonstration. Feel free to click and treat, whatever you've been doing with your dog. So anytime you're ready, if you can do that for me.
Sit, wave, good boy. Wave, good boy. Wave.
Good. Very good. So now if you can go ahead and put that painting paw on Bailey. You can go ahead, I think that was the right paw. It seemed to be that dominant paw. Dogs can have different dominants. Earlier today we watched one of the dogs actually started with the right, but actually we learned that the dog liked the left paw better to do this.
Good boy, Bailey. Good boy. Good job.
And as I talked about earlier, you can see Bailey has worn this already today and has already created a picture. You can see he's feeling a little bit uncomfortable with that on the paw. The paw is raised up and he's going, hey, what's up? All right, because they're not used to this. This is not something we do on a regular basis. So our next step, if you can, I'd like you to see several strokes with the painting paw on that piece of paper.
All right. Come here, Bailey. Come on. You ready? Wave. Good job. Or yes. Okay, good wave. Come on. Good.
Yeah. So that would be part of that training step that we talked about. Now let's see if Bailey can actually do this without clicking and no treats. So if you've got any treats on you or in your hands, I'd ask you to either, yep, there you go. Now go ahead and try this.
Good.
Very good.
Good.
That was 5, 6 nice long strokes. Look at that.
Good job.
That is really good.
Keep going.
I know, Chris, for seeing this. If we needed to, I can send you a copy of Bailey's picture. He did do this earlier today. We did not want to pull the paint back out, but I know I need to show this
May I treat
for
you?
yeah, you can go ahead and treat now. But I did need to show me working with the dog for me to become the eval status on that. So there is no paint on this, but we can show you a picture if we need to. All right, can you tell me a little bit how to use and clean up the Tempera paints, the water-based paints?
Well, soap, water, you know, I used water, soap, a little spray, and it cleans up so easily with paper towels.
Okay. Would you want to clean them up right away?
Yes.
Or, okay, good.
Yes, because when it dries, it's harder to get off. You can still do it, but especially like red and stuff, you want to clean red up really.
Why don't you go ahead, I'm sorry, why don't you go ahead and take that up, Bailey?
Oh, I'm sorry, Bailey.
Sometimes us humans get busy, we don't think about our dogs
Good
sometimes.
boy.
That was my fault. But, yeah, good. You always want to clean up right away. Like I say, it can be really good to put plastic and stuff down. We're on a good tile floor. As long as we clean up immediately, it comes right up.
Nice cardboard, too, that you get.
Yep, the cardboards can work.
Before you
Something to
put it in the
protect.
trash, right.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about Bailey? What would you do?
Oh, well, as soon as I go home, he has a little bit of blue on him, so I'm going to clean the blue off, and you know, because it won't be much to do. So you just make sure that they don't have any on there, so they don't track it in the house or.
Yep.
You know, or lick it. You know, you don't want them to eat the paint.
Right, good.
Off their hair.
And it's sometimes hard because we had a bunch of dogs in here today, and sometimes they're walking around with the other dogs and they get it on themselves. But you always want to make sure you check their pads right away, make sure that they're doing really good. And what about the painting paw itself? What do you want to do with that when we're done?
Well, I'm gonna actually I could probably throw the sponge away because you can just make new sponges, but you want to make sure. You know, give it a good washing, you know, at home. I'd even throw it in the washing machine on gentle, you know, or just give it a nice gentle cleaning.
Right.
It should be good for the next time.
Yep, and like part of that again, it does help to clean it immediately if possible. Here, it's a little hard for us today where we're at, but if you can actually take it into a sink and hand wash it with some hot soap and water, it'll make it a little bit easier.
Plus, you'll have it for next time.
Have it for next time,
You
yep.
have to keep buying them, and you can use them.
Right, and that's actually what we're doing with our troop is we bought a bunch of them for our troop for future. Great job. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.